Good morning, Hail Stalkers. This is Derek Klein coming to you from the Hail Palace here at Hail Trace, and we are definitely excited about all the weather that we've been having. A lot of activity across the U.S. We have finally begun to make up ground on what we were down or how far we were behind for the most part of the first part of this year. So taking a look though today, we're going to talk a little bit about more specifically how we analyze radar. We're actually going to show you a couple of really good hail maps and show you the difference between two maps that might look similar, but really were completely different the way that the storms impacted the area, and how Hail Trace can help you with the consultations that we do with our clients to know what the difference is between these two different storms. So let's go ahead and take a look at the storms from yesterday. Let's start off with the Louisville storm. Obviously this is our hail map that we had. So we've got this orange area here, which is an area of ping pong ball to golf ball size hail, where it was impacted across parts of northern Louis, Jeffersonville, Indiana, and then over towards St. Matthews, Kentucky. So this area was impacted yesterday afternoon. We've got a yellow area here with quarter to $half size hail. Now, how damaging was this storm? Obviously, golf ball, not always a damaging event when it comes to hail across the country. So let's jump into the radar. Let's take a look at what we see when we're actually creating this map, because here at Hail Trace, we actually have meteorologists that analyze every single storm that happens across the U.S. so we can get a better idea as to how damaging that storm might be. So let's take a look up here. So we've got the radar up here, and you can see we've got this swath of hail that's going on. It actually extends across the river here, and we can see that by some values here on our table here. So these blues, these greens here that kind of extend down across this area right here, that is telling us that the radar is picking up some larger objects in this storm. So that's the first thing that we're going to look at. We're going to look, is there any big objects in this storm? And if we can find those large objects, then that lets us know that we've got some large hail in it. But the other thing that we're looking at is these echoes, they're kind of light. There's a little bit of pink in here. There's a lot of orange in here. So the level of intensity of precip that's falling is kind of low on this storm. And so what that tells us is a lot of times that's isolated. There's not a whole lot. So what that tells you is that when you're going out to look for damage, or you're going out to help people with restoration on their property or anything like that, that there may not be as much damage in this area, or there may not be any damage in this area. And so the level of storm that we have here may not be the same level as a different storm of the same caliber. So let's take a look at the Wichita storm. This actually rolled through Wichita, Kansas late last night, and had a lot of high wind with it. Winds 80, I think we've even seen some reports of 90-mile-per-hour winds across parts of Wichita. We've got reports of ping pong ball, $half, golf ball size hail. And so this storm moved across the area. You can see similar map. We've got our quarter to $half size hail right up here. We've got our ping pong ball to golf ball size hail right in here. And so what's the difference? Well, let's take a look at it on radar. So as you can see, if we go to the radar here, look how much more pink this storm is right here. We've got a lot of pink in this area, and that's telling us that the intensity of the precip that's falling, it's big. It's coming down crazy in this area. You tack on that you've got some 70, 80, even 90-mile-per-hour winds, this stuff becomes missiles. I mean, it is launching into stuff. And then we've got kind of those similar values, just like we had right in here where we've got these lower values. So that's telling us that there is some larger objects mixing in with this hail. So when Hail Trace analyzes this storm, what we're going to see is we're going to see an area that has a lot of hail. So there's, and it's not all going to be big, but we're going to have a lot of nickel, penny, quarter. We're going to have some golf balls mixed in, some ping pong balls mixed in. We're going to have high intensity amount of hail. So the damage potential with a storm like this is much higher than on a storm where we have isolated hail, like on the Louisville storm. So both storms produce golf ball size hail. If you're looking at a report map, you've got reports of golf ball size hail across both cities. There's no difference in those report maps. If you were to look at our hail map even, we've got an orange swath that goes across it. Now, if we go back to our hail map, you can actually click on this swath, and we're going to tell you what the wind speed was in this storm, how long it held for, and those are all factors that also can tell you how much the damage potential is in that. It doesn't tell you everything you need to know, and that's why we're here as well. So you can pick up the phone, you can give us a call. Real simple phone call, 855-334-4245. Talk to the meteorologist that put this map together. Gives you a great idea as to what the potential is for that storm that impacted that area. So let's go back Let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast though for today, because we've got more activity coming today, and it looks like we could have a fairly active afternoon. Everything's going to shift a little bit further to the east, but let's take a look at the ingredients that we've got. So we've got some instability. We're going moderate instability, depending on where you are. If you're up into Kentucky, you're going to actually be on the low end of this instability chart. Tennessee's kind of in the middle. It might even be borderline high instability as you get across Mississippi and northern Louisiana. Moisture return is really good. We're borderline to being high on the moisture content. So we've got lots of moisture. The Gulf of Mexico is open for business. That's been bringing stuff in. And we've actually got some pretty decent wind shear out there as well today. And so that's going to allow a lot of thunderstorms to develop as we go through the afternoon hours. We're expecting storms to develop around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the evening across parts of western Kentucky. And let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. We'll see the area that we've got. And so you can see we've got this large area here stretching all the way up from really the Ohio border all the way down across Tennessee and then down into Louisiana, back into eastern Texas. The storms back here in Texas, Louisiana, a little bit more isolated. More widespread hail, it looks like, across Mississippi and potentially up into Tennessee. And then the hail looks a little smaller as we get up here into Kentucky. So let's dive on into each city. Let's take a look at Louisville, Kentucky to start off. 4 to 7 o'clock, we're going to start things off. The chance for large hail, really not great in Kentucky. It looks like instability is kind of low. Up to ping pong balls possible in that time frame, more than likely quarters at the best. But the chance of hail only about 15% in Louisville, and wind-driven hail, we've got 65-mile-per-hour winds possible with any of those severe thunderstorms that happen. Taking a look at Memphis, Tennessee, we've got storms are actually going to develop right on top of Memphis today. So they're going to form right on top of you. If they can get going quick enough, then yeah, that severe potential will be there. 4 to 7 o'clock, golf ball size hail possible. Chance of hail is about 30%. A little further to the east, the chance of hail is a little higher because the storms will have chance to mature as they move into that area. And 65-mile-per-hour winds with those storms as well. Let's take a look at Nashville. Nashville is one of our pick cities. Hail up to 2-inch possible, isolated. Not everybody's going to see it, but it is there. The opportunities there. Quarter-size hail or better, there's a 35% chance in the Nashville metro area. And wind-driven hail, 65-mile-per-hour winds possible. Nashville, a little bit later, as the storms develop to your west, they'll move in through 5 to 9 p.m. across that area. We're going to take a look now at Monroe, Louisiana. We've got 2-inch hail potential in Monroe, Louisiana. We've got a 40% chance of hail, so a little bit higher. We think storms from Monroe up into parts of Mississippi, a little bit more activity across that area. 70-mile-per-hour winds possible. So if any of these storms hit this area, you need to be ready, because they're going to be a potential of some damaging hail, damaging winds, even a few isolated tornadoes possible across this area. And last but not least, we've got Jackson, Mississippi. Taking a look at the forecast. 2-inch hail possible across Jackson. The chance of hail about 40%. Really from Jackson points to the north and west. That's going to be your best opportunity for hail across Mississippi. And 70-mile-per-hour winds will be possible with any of these thunderstorms across there. Again, Jackson's kind of on the eastern edge of this storm front, so 7 to 11 p.m. is when the storms move in. Anybody east of that area, Jackson to Nashville, things look like it'll be a squall line will move through. There'll be a little bit of a wind threat, but the hail threat really tends to drop off as we head through the evening and as that squall line begins to develop. So again, that's kind of our forecast for today. If you've got any questions, as always, we're here, 855-334-4245. If there's anything at all that we can do for you, please don't hesitate to give us a call or give us a shout. Again, email info@hailtrace.com, and we hope everybody makes it a great day.